What you call sex, it is not about the body. Let us call it what it is. It is a transaction. And you are the one trying to fill a bottomless pit. Be honest for once. That intense desire is actually just a plea for validation, to be chosen, for someone to tell you you're okay, you're good enough. Every time you go to bed with someone, it is not just an exchange of bodies. You are exchanging burdens. You are unloading your invisible wounds onto them and taking on their burdens without even knowing it. And then what? You walk away emptier than when you walked in. That emptiness is not fatigue, it is the price you pay for a failed transaction. And here is why. Because society has taught you that being a man is about being strong. It has forced you to cut off the soft, sensitive part inside, the part that knows fear, that knows hurt. So you go looking for it elsewhere. You turn women into a mirror, a desperate mirror to reflect, to find the part of yourself that you have thrown away. In this video, we will dissect that truth, and stay until the end, because I will show you how to stop selling yourself short, how to have intimacy without paying the price of emptiness. So where does that miserable loop begin? Ask yourself this question. Have you ever felt that your desire does not really come from you, but is driven by an emotional hunger from the past, an intensely burning need? That after everything, you are finally the one who is chosen, and when that hunger is greater than your own self-respect, then a tragedy begins. The man starts to erase himself. He discards his personality, bends his beliefs, does everything against his true nature, all just to fit into the image he thinks the other person wants. He becomes an emotional chameleon, desperately changing colors to be accepted. And the most common mask he wears, it is the nice guy. The guy who is always available, always kind, always sacrificing. But let us call it by its real name. That is not love, it is the fear of abandonment. Wearing the costume of virtue. That excessive kindness is actually a performance. He is not in love. He is begging by playing his part perfectly. And in that play, he gives his partner a role they never signed up for, the role of the savior. He expects her to patch the holes in his soul, the wounds that he himself should have been the one to face. He's not looking for a companion, he's looking for a mother, a therapist, a saint, to save him from himself. But it never works. And this is where things get worse. This is not just dependency, this is a vampiric loop. A place where your life force is not only drained by your partner, but is also being burned from the inside by your own hunger for approval. Each of your kind acts leaves you more depleted. Each sacrifice digs the hole in you deeper. It makes you emptier and more desperate. If the search for approval is the trap, then who to set that trap? The one who set the trap is not anyone else. It is worse than that. That person is you, or rather, the part of you that you never dare to look at. Carl Jung wrote one of the most brutal sentences in psychology. What you do not make conscious, ma'am, will return in your life as fate. Simply put, what you bury will not die. It will come back to haunt your life under the name destiny. You think you are choosing? No, you are just repeating old pains. That thing is called the shadow. It is all the wounded, weak, ugly parts that you have denied and cast down into the basement of your mind. And that shadow, it silently takes the wheel of your life without you even knowing, turns every relationship into a stage to reenact tragic plays from the past. That is why intimacy feels like walking through a minefield. The danger is not your partner. The danger is the minds buried inside you, just waiting for a light touch to explode. Every moment of closeness risks reactivating a heartache you thought had long since healed. And when the shadow takes over, what does it do? It will project. He looks at a woman and turns her into everything he needs. The lover, the mother, the savior. But this is not love, this is your shadow using her as a screen to replay the movie of your childhood scarcity. He does not love the real person she is. He loves the illusion he created to fill his own void. And in practice, how does this shadow operate? It makes you unconsciously attracted to people who give you a strangely familiar feeling. That familiar feeling might be the constant criticism of a mother, or the cold distance of a father. And you rush into that relationship, sex is not to find happiness, but in a desperate attempt to go back to the past and fix it, to write a happy ending for a story that has long been over. So what happens, like, when you meet someone who can break that loop? What happens when intimacy becomes truly intimate? That is when you understand real nakedness has nothing to do with clothes. Taking off clothes is easy, but shedding the defenses of the soul, that is when the terror begins. It is the feeling of being naked from the inside out. A place where all the fears, all the insecurities, all the self-doubts you have tried to hide your entire life are suddenly exposed under a spotlight. And in that quiet moment, the pause between the encounters, another person will appear. Your inner child, the little boy from long ago, the boy who just longed to be held, to be loved, without having to prove anything. He is there, trembling and afraid. You know what? The mask of strength, it does not shatter from screams or arguments. It melts, it simply melts in the silence of an understanding touch, a touch that demands nothing, judges nothing. And that is also the reason why so many men run away when things get too close. It is not their fault. It is instinct. Because facing true intimacy is also facing yourself in the most naked of mirrors, and not everyone is brave enough to endure that sight. And then the worst feeling hits afterward. People call it by a beautiful name, the postcoital tristesse. But let us call it what it is. It is the slap of reality. It is not physical fatigue. It is the terrifying psychological weight that crashes down when the performance is over, when the adrenaline of desire fades, and you are left alone. With four walls and an infinite emptiness, that is the moment the mask hits the floor, and you have to face the real person that you have been trying to run from your entire life. So what now? Are we just stuck in this wreckage forever? No. But what if desire could be something completely different? What if the thought that you have to be good at sex to prove yourself is just a lie? The truth is, when a man can truly let go of his ego and the performance in an intimate moment, he's not just touching a woman's body. He's touching the very sensitive, soft part that the world has forced him to bury. He's touching his own anima. And that is when the magic happens. Sacred pleasure. It is not about technique or control. It is about overwhelming presence. It is not a performance to score points. It is a ritual where your body and hers become an emotional mirror. In that mirror, for the first time in your life, you see yourself without wearing any mask. And when that happens, sex is no longer an act of proving. It becomes an act of reconnecting with the real person locked beneath the armor. Pleasure becomes healing. It is no longer something you seek to fill a void, but something that is born from your own fullness. And the ultimate goal is not just to heal, but to reach a state of sacred union, a fancy name for a very simple truth. It is the moment when the strong person and the soft person inside you finally make peace with each other. They merge into one. When that happens, the external relationship and it will automatically become a reflection of your internal harmony. Sex is no longer a hunt. It becomes a true ritual of wholeness. It is like an opiate. It gives you a fleeting high. Then it always leaves, and you are left craving again. True healing only begins the moment you realize you do not have to be an addict anymore. The moment you stop begging for affection, because you have chosen yourself first. Self-awareness is not about reading philosophy books. It is an act. It is the courage to look directly into the deep pit within without running away. A man's true awakening. It does not begin at the peak of glory. It begins from the very ashes of his soul. And remember this well, unconscious sex. It is a wide open channel for energy exchange. You are allowing the chaos, the instability of others, to flow directly into your life, draining your life force without you even knowing. Every intimate choice you make from this day forward is either a brick to rebuild you, or a shovel digging your own grave deeper. Ultimately, this journey is not about giving up desire. It is about reclaiming sovereignty. Sovereignty over your soul and your energy. True masculine power is not about conquering the external world. It is the ability to establish a solid energetic boundary within, and only allowing what is worthy to enter. Now the choice is yours. If this video has touched you, comment below which part awakened you the most. Your sharing could be the light another man needs. And subscribe to the channel, because our journey of self-decoding has only just begun.